topic for today. I'm going to give you my 2 pennies about quest for relevance, but since we had so much input, let's start with a simple question and answer game. I want to know, who of you spent his teenage years in the 90s? Few fingers up. Okay, let's integrate the whole audience. Who spent his 20s, 30s, or 40s in the 90s? Okay, cool. So maybe you remember a couple of things from the 90s, like Game Boys maybe, or Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts, or Hathaway, What is Love? Maybe someone remembers. I remember a very special thing, which is, oh, this is the wrong one. Which is this funky shit. It's colorful bicycle helmets. I remember when my mother came up one day and she said, okay, I talked to the other mothers. I want that you go to school and back home safely. So from now on, you got to wear this bicycle helmet. And I said, of course, safety is very important, Mom. Of course, I'm going to wear it. It looks masculine somehow, like a Starship Trooper helmet. At least if Princess Leia was with the Starship Trooper, it's okay, I'm gonna wear it. So I put it on, I met my friends, everything has this prosthesis on. So we rode around the corner and we threw all the bicycle helmets in the garage of my granddad. So why am I telling this? The thing is, when startups present themselves in front of investors or in a canvas bag, they always start with, what problem do we solve? Like, we are the startup Musler, we have an e-commerce store for protein shakes, and we solve the problem for young, shiny men being overlooked at Tinder. Or we have, we are a startup Friesler, and we have developed an app that solves the problem. If you have a fridge and the fridge door is closed, you don't know if the fridge lamp is still on. So we have this kind of Internet of Things application that when you are 2,000 kilometers away from home with a camera in the fridge, you can still look if the fridge is on. So the thing is, I'm wondering about this because when you're looking at the very, very big companies who are really established, are they really solving problems? Like take Deutsche Bank, for example. What kind of problems do they solve? Solving problems, their own problems, monetary problems, accruals, I don't know. Or take Nestle Waters. Nestle Waters, what kind of problems do they solve? Thirst problems? No, come on. They have not managed to solve problems. They have created something which is, in my eyes, more important than problem solutions. They created relevance. Why am I telling this again? Let's get back to the example with the bicycle helmet. My mother tried to solve a problem, but the solution was simply not relevant to us. And this is exactly what happened to us when we founded our startup and entered the market for gastronomy. I will give you our story in a nutshell. We're 3 guys, know each other for 20 years, know the market for the hospitality sector for a very long time. And we saw that the market is very fragmented. There are island solutions, but there is no nucleus in this industry who is offering anything that gastronomists need for the business out of one hand. So what we did is we set up one marketplace platform where you can buy pizza ovens, straws, you can buy cooling cells, anything you need in terms of non-food supply. And based on this e-commerce platform, we were setting up a planning, consulting, and business development solution services for gastronomists. So we're the only one in the German market. If you want to found a restaurant, we can build and accompany you through the whole process from the logo, our financial consulting, menu planning, procurement, kitchen planning, up to the exhaust. So is this relevant for the industry? I guess so. But let's turn around the question. Is the industry relevant for this business model? Numbers. Every MBA graduate loves numbers, so let's get through some of them. We have 400,000 businesses in the hospitality sector in Germany, like restaurants, butcheries, gas stations, every business that is selling food. These businesses make about 76 billion euros per year in food sales in Germany. 9% of this turnover is spent for non-food capex, which makes a lot, like 6.8 billion non-food spending. This is about 1.5 times bigger than the market for bicycles, by the way. We got 40,000 founders per year entering the market. It costs about 350,000 euros to set up a restaurant, which is about 150% increase versus the 90s. And above all, we have a high need for professionalization. We have a high fragmented market when it comes to the supply side, and we have a visibly growing online shift in that market. So does it sound like a relevant market? Does it sound like an interesting market? Yes? Yes? So I guess you haven't met the gastronomists yet. The problem is, the gastronomy is a very democratic market. It has simply no entry barriers. I would say 80% of the gastronomists don't have higher education. And due to these low entry barriers, this market is attracting some kind of problematic characters. I have a friend, he's a Michelin star chef, and he said in peak times, there are more than 30 years of prison experience working in his kitchen. So there's a huge lack of structure. Everyone is occupied with themselves. Of course, everyone knows how to make the best steak. They don't know how to handle the business, but they're making the best steaks. And when it comes to trends in this industry, nearly everyone is constantly refusing against these trends to be able to handle this business in a better mode. So you might say, what about trends? Of course there are trends. We heard about vertical farming restaurants. What about the craft beer movement? There are even 3D printers in future setup restaurants. What about these trends? Let's come back to the question. Are these trends relevant? Yes, they're relevant for the media. They're relevant for food porn on Facebook, but they're not relevant for the industry. So the problem is, like I said, everyone is focusing on the best steak, but no one is focusing about the processes. If you want to make business and if you want to make money in this business, you must focus on the processes. Let me ask you a question. Why is quick restaurants, for example, still in the market after 20 years? They're making the worst burgers, but they survived so many like craft burger, hipster restaurants. Why are they surviving? Because they're focusing on the processes, not on the product. So let's have a look at the processes in the business. And I made a simple picture. This is the fundament for our consulting. So first we have the customer experience. You're entering a restaurant. How is the ambience, the furniture, the sound? What is the menu like? How do you order your food? How long does it take? And then it's moving to the process perspective, which means what about the procurement, the warehousing, the kitchen workflows, the staff planning. And so you see here, people spend money and time. Here goes money out. You're spending time. This is what's left. That's what you make with the business perspective. That's, let's call it the unit economics perspective. And for a couple of years, there are numerous startups being situated and located around these processes or perspective, like menu offering and ordering, payment and delivery, Foodora, for example, or digital menu offering, food and hygiene controlling, staff and shift planning, marketing on social media, of course, and like a core business, the European unit economics controlling. So I would say this looks pretty holistic. And since you're MBA graduates, I can tell you a secret. I would say from the PowerPoint perspective, we're all millionaires. So we're creating a problem, we solve it in PowerPoint. Yes, they're going to be a hockey stick. The problem is when you're entering the real life market, you have to start from scratch. You have really to start from scratch. And when I come to the problems, it's not the problems that we are facing in the industry. When I'm talking to other CEOs in the restaurant industry, it's completely the same. There are a couple of problems everyone is facing up to now. All these startups, all these apps are just island solutions. There's no holistic approach. There are no APIs. If you want to really digitize your restaurant, you must have more than 25 different apps on your iPhone or your computer, which is just not feasible. Sales is still a door-to-door job. This is a mistake nearly every young startup in the gastronomy sector makes. They think, oh, we have a digital product, so we're going to build a lead generation website and the sales will be all digital. It doesn't work at all. You still have to ring the doorbell of restaurant. Restaurant owner says, "I'll come back tomorrow at 11 o'clock. You can help me bringing the tomatoes downstairs." It's really very frustrating doing sales in this business. And what I mentioned before, the reliability and payment model are lousy. I remember speaking to a CEO of a really, really big hospitality startup, and he said in the last 2 years he learned how to hate one kind of people, which are gastronomers. So, but is that industry just full of problems? Of course not. There are chances, there are upsides, because the HoReCa online revolution will come, but this is really sure, and everyone knows that. We just know it will be in 3 years, in 5 years, in 7 years. But in the meantime, it's hotel, restaurant, and catering. Sorry, yeah, it's a hospitality market. In the meantime, actors are joining forces. They don't see themselves as competitors anymore. They're building, above all, sales networks. Sabine knows that very well. So they're trying to build gastronomy ecosystems. Metro is building one, Radeberger is building one. So people have understood that they have to join forces, to become more relevant in this business. And third of all, a new, more professional generation will take over. We in our business, we see many people coming from PricewaterhouseCoopers, even from Goldman Sachs, and they say, "I spent 5 years in investment banking, now I want to make a dream come true. I want to have my own bagel restaurant," for example. And these people bring with themselves much more management skills, but less gastronomy skills. And this is good for us because we see ourselves really as a business enabler for the gastronomy. The only question is, when the revolution will come, will we still there? Actually, at the moment, I don't know, because after setting up our business, we had to learn some very hard lessons. I want to share 3 of them with you. First, which is the most important, don't expect professionalism just because you're in B2B. This is not only valid for the gastronomist themselves, this is only valid or counts for the supply side. I can remember, for example, when I was talking to a very, very big corporate for cooling technology. And we said, we have this e-commerce store, now we have to have pictures from you. I need product pictures for our online platform. And I wait 10 minutes, the fax machine is going on, and they send 30 pages of black and white fax pictures for my e-commerce store. So this can be really frustrating if you make these experiences. Second experience, scaling is planned for robots but done by slaves. What do I mean by that? Let's place a bet. If you can show me one gastronomy startup that's really scaling in terms of tremendous cost regressions, I give you a chocolate fountain for free. The truth is they have upfront investments, they have a fixed cost block, but the sales costs, they're just increasing linear. And if your profits are below them, you're just scaling shit. So to solve that problem, you have really become a very mean pharaoh. And let's say you have to, I have this whip, and you have to, build the pyramid of gastronomy sales network. You have to control, and control again, which is not fun if you started a business with enthusiasm and you're then just noticing that you have to turn your character in the kind of Darth Vader mode to control the sales team and to control the organization. And, which was one of the most bitter lessons for us, prioritize your relevance to stakeholders. What do I mean by that? Like I said, we started with 2 business segments. One e-commerce platform, and above that, the consultancy, planning, building and mounting of whole restaurants. The latter was very successful and was nearly profitable, but it was not relevant to VCs. Because they said there's no exit universe, it's not scalable. So the second business, like the e-commerce platform, it was relevant for VCs, but it wasn't relevant for the market. So what do you do in this situation where you're stuck in the middle? And actually, it's a matter of decision what you want to become. Do you want to be a startup, like handling from financing round to financing round, maybe with a big exit? Or you say, I make this grounded rubber boot business. I'm standing in restaurants, with my spade and I'm building the restaurants. No one is interested in you. TechCrunch, is not interested in you, but you can earn your money as a SME business model owner and an honorable man. So we actually are in the middle of this decision process, and I cannot tell, what will become out of us, but if you are planning to digitize services in a foreign industry, I would recommend don't make your bill without the host. And if this host is not giving you any bill, but 2 cappuccinos and saying, "Oh, dottore, the register is out of order, this paperwork, we have a shifter, can you give any bill?" I would just recommend enjoy this black money cappuccino. And sometimes it's better to enjoy a black money cappuccino than to transform the cappuccino industry. So this was it. Thank you very much.